warning of potential death and destruction if he's indicted. This, of course, followed another post where he was pictured holding a baseball bat next to the head of the Manhattan District Attorney. What do you read into all of this?
Well, I read that somebody who's being persecuted, not prosecuted, is reacting as any human being that would have that sense of persecution. So, this is more of the Trump obsession that I think is actually overblown in this regard. I think there's a lot more going on in the country than this prosecution or persecution, however one wants to call it. We'll see if there's even an indictment. You didn't report on the bump on the road here with Mr. Cohen and other things and cancellations. So who knows if these charges, which were looked at, of course, several years ago and dismissed by federal prosecutors, so we can get into the underlying charges, which are really, if they're going to be felonies, federal, not state charges. This prosecutor ran on getting Donald Trump, which is not much sense of justice. So there are so many different angles to this story. This is the problem in America. There are two Americas. One is Trump derangement syndrome, people trying to persecute the president. And the other is one that Americans feel, many Americans feel, there's a two-tier justice system, weaponization of the system, and this is a consequence of the warnings he's giving. So it is vintage Donald Trump, but I also see him as a human being, and everyone else who would be in this situation, I think, would react similarly.
So, Spencer, he's saying it's persecution, but we did hear today that Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg did get a suspicious package. It had white powder in it, had a death threat. Some people are saying, this is also Trump's playbook that he used prior to January 6th. I want to get your reaction.
Yes, it's absolutely predictable and certainly not unforeseen by Donald Trump, who by now has racked up quite a lot of experience in inciting violence. And I think to say that this is the way any human being would react is to suggest that just any human being should be president of the United States or a leader of one of our major political parties, for example, as Donald Trump is right now. Also, the personalization of this issue, and as supposedly everybody just hates Donald Trump for some mysterious reason, is also part of this. And it's typical of what Trump represents. It's often confused as conservatism, but this has nothing to do with conservatism. This is authoritarian ethnic nationalism, and it's the classic playbook where a supposed strongman claims to embody the spirit of a great nation and is infinitely innocent and promises to realize all the dreams of his followers, which Trump has explicitly promised. He can never be guilty of anything, whereas his opponents are guilty of everything. So this is absolutely predictable, and it's just more evidence of why this person should never be close to any public office, let alone the presidency, and why his party should acknowledge that it has abandoned conservatism in favor of ethnic nationalist authoritarianism, otherwise known basically as gangsterism.